There was a hint of controversy in last week's second test between England and New Zealand at Edgbaston when Stuart Broad thought he'd taken the wicket of Devon Conway, caught behind for 22. Here's what happened.
In goes Broad, is there, and he bowls edged under. Has that carried? I think it has carried. England think it has, but Conway's staying rooted to the crease.
The umpires have come together and they're going to now give a soft signal, I would think, and they think it's not out.
They think it's not out. Stuart Broad still rowing with the umpires.
Freeze it there, please, yeah. See the on-field soft signal is not out, and I can see the ball is on the ground also, so I'm ready for my decision on the big screen.
The crowd won't like it, but I think it's the right decision.
My decision is not out.
Well, that was Zach Crawley with the catch, a low catch taken at slip. Devon Conway then a reprise on 22, actually went on to make 80. But the decision reignited the debate in some quarters around the soft signal and whether they complicate or how they impact the decision-making process in what is now an age of technology. So under current ICC regulations, the burden of proof, if you like, is on the third umpire to prove that the standing umpire has made a mistake, to overturn the original decision. And well, after watching that particular footage, there was a response from the West Indies captain, Jason Holder. He wrote on social media, "How much longer will the soft signal cloud the game?" We know that Indian captain Virat Kohli plays for the Royal Challengers Bangalore, of course. He has criticised the soft signal in the past, for LBWs, in fact, in his case in particular, saying the umpire's call creates a lot of confusion. Well, Stuart Broad, of course, was the England bowler involved in that most recent incident, and he really felt strongly about this soft signal in the case of clear and fair catches. And I was able to have a really good chat with him, in fact, just after that incident had happened. So he'd had a night to sleep on it, and he just reckons that soft signal for catches isn't working and should be scrapped as soon as possible.
I think you only need to look at, Zach Crawley's reaction of knowing that the catch was under, his fingers were under the ball. Look at Joe Root and Bracey's reaction a yard away from the ball. You can see that catch was his fingers were under it. I think the umpires are in a really tricky position actually due to the rule that's there from the ICC. They have to give an opinion. They're going upstairs to use technology, but still have to give an opinion on whether they think it's out or not, although they're going upstairs because they don't know. And sometimes in Test cricket you can be 40 yards away as an umpire with a fielder in your way. One day cricket you can be 60, 70 yards away and have to make an opinion on that. So I actually think the ruling is putting the umpires in a completely unfair situation. And if you've got technology, if you're going upstairs to use technology, just say, look, the technology's there, you make a call on it because we don't know. So I think the soft signal we've got, in my opinion, I think we've got to get rid of. I think the ICC have got to get rid of that, and I wouldn't be waiting till September or October when the next ICC meeting is. I think someone just needs to come out now and go, it's a rule that's not working. Look at the pros and cons for it. The cons completely outweigh the pros. Let's get rid of it. Let's stop putting our staff and umpires under huge pressure and let the technology make the decision.
Isn't it more often the case, though, that the television screen more often than not makes it look as if a catch has been grasped, when so often those on the field feel it was a fair catch?
Yeah, it can do. I mean, I watched a bit of footage last night, and there's a big difference between the ball, the fingers can be under the ball and a bit of the ball touch a bit of grass because the fingers have been crushed into the grass. That's out in cricket. That's...
Well, that would almost be simultaneous contact, which I suppose by the letter of the law is not out.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but I think what you need to do is get the umpires out of the difficult situation, because the soft signal is asking them to make an opinion on something that they don't know. They're going upstairs because they don't know. So it's I think a rule change needs to happen just to take the scrutiny off the umpires and just let in the history of the game it's always been the batter gets the benefit of the doubt, doesn't it? So, if there's benefit of the doubt, then it's not out. But take the umpires out the middle of the heat of the battle of it.
So, Stuart Broad had clearly spent a lot of time that evening thinking about this and watching the footage back as well. Interested in your views, because it made me actually think about the evolution of the soft signal and the rules around close catches. Because as I said to Stuart then, more often than not, when a catch goes to the third umpire, I would have thought, and I'm sure just by my own thinking back and experience, that more often than not, TV cameras make catches look worse than they actually seem in real life. Don't know what your views are, Al and Chari, but I'd have thought you take out the soft signal, it's probably going to end up in more decisions being given out when, the bowlers and those on the field think, well, hang on, surely I thought it did carry.
I think that's certainly the case, Ali. And can I just say as well, I just want to clarify, that was Stuart Broad, the same Stuart Broad who in 2013, and we have long memories in Australia,
I know where this is
the Ashes
going.
series, was caught behind, off the Brad Haddon glove, caught at first slip off the bowling of Ashton Agar, and then wandered up the wicket and did a spot of gardening and didn't walk. Is that the same bloke?
Yeah, it might be.
It might be. Yeah. The soft signal, I think we need to be a little bit careful here because the umpires are the key officiators within the game and we don't want to diminish their role too much. I just think there needs to be a bit of common sense applied here. So whether that is just that there are the odd occasions where the umpire says, well, I'm not sure. So there is no soft signal. It goes up to the third umpire in that instance. But it's inconclusive so often that the third umpire can't actually determine based on the broadcast footage, which varies depending on who's doing the broadcasting of matches around the world. The 2D footage, as you say, isn't very conclusive often and can make it look as if a legitimate catch wasn't a catch as well. So I think it's fair if the umpire on the field as the key decision maker within the game has some sort of influence over the decision in that case. And if they feel like, in the spur of the moment, to the naked eye, that it was most likely out or not out, I think that should bear some weight. But I also think there should be situations, and I think, Charu, that Virat Kohli has suggested this, that there should be occasions where the umpires on the field just say, we don't know, it's inconclusive, up to you to make a determination. I think the MCC World Cricket Committee, with some very well-regarded cricketers upon it, Rahul Dravid, Ricky Ponting, Kumar Sangakkara, they too have suggested that there should be some changes around whether a soft signal can be used for a catch in the outfield. It works well for catches in the infield, but not so well for catches in the outfield, as Stuart was saying in that interview. They're a long way away, those umpires, so perhaps that's something that needs to be considered, just that they actually don't make a determination.
For starters, let's go back to when this whole I've taken the catch and I know best because I'm the cricketer here. And what do umpires know was started by Michael Slater, Alison, just to get back on Alistair, because when he was in India and claimed a catch, which was clearly not a catch and was proved so on television, I think that started this whole rationalization of the fact that cricketers don't always know best.
And hasn't there been, Char, also the times when, was it Ricky Ponting, who I think ahead of, I don't know, was it 05 Ashes or 09 Ashes, where there's been times when captains have come together. A captain has tried to instigate with the fellow captain, right? Are we just going to accept our fielders' call on whether they took a catch or not? And another captain might be, okay, yes. Another will be like, no, we'd like to keep the umpires involved.
When it hurts a certain captain, it's no, we don't want to accept. Otherwise, of course, when it suits you, you want to accept. Anyway, I think the most relevant part of Broad's interview was at the end admitted that eventually it's favoring the batsman, right? The benefit of doubt goes to the batsman. I think that's the most important part of cricket here. Because, yes, soft signals, and Stuart did say that, the umpires go upstairs because they don't know. But that's not true. The umpires want some sort of ratification from upstairs. They do know, they do feel what's going on. It's not that they don't know. But upstairs, of course, the television umpire then either confirms or not. So, yes, I think the soft signal is something that the ICC has obviously thought about as influencing a certain decision, but it should be taken away.
With a fair or unfair catch, a scooped catch, that is TV replays of an event which has happened. Whereas the Hawkeye predictive technology is an event which hasn't happened and is being predicted. And that's sort of hence why there is still that degree of tolerance built in, because there's some human error even involved in the setting up and the calibration of that technology. So hence why you do get that curious. And it is if you're a spectator watching for the first time and you see, a batsman who has been given, let me get this right, it's been given not out, and then the ball is shown to have clipped leg stump, and you think, ball hitting wicket, that's out then. But actually, no, because it was only clipping, decision stays with the on-field umpire, and so not out, which makes no sense to the watching spectator. But it's that having that understanding that it's a predictive element and the technology isn't completely viewed as accurate.
I'd just like to add, Alison, that it's the same for both the teams.
The
predictive element. So then there's no bias. And to my mind, if there's no bias in technology, it should be taken 100%. Because even that, you just mentioned that the umpire sort of said, the signal is out or not out, and then of course we have to stay with the umpire's call. Why make an umpire's call? I mean, there's a DRS involved. If you think the umpire's wrong, take the DRS, and if it's clipping, it's out. If it's not clipping, it's not out.
Would you go with the technology for LBWs like that, Al, and just say, just leave it even with that degree of sort of tolerance? If the ball is shown to be clipping, let's just go with the technology. Clipping is out.
Yeah, I think so, Ali, and I think it's trusted enough, as much as you occasionally see the odd one where there's some level of bounce or a ball keeping low that mystifies on any certain pitch. But I do find it bizarre that you can have one ball as determined it's the same ball, but it could be out and it also could not be out, depending on what the on-field umpire said. I understand how bizarre that is, and that could certainly be made more straightforward. But what's the role of the umpire? Are we completely diminishing the role of the umpire in the game? Is the umpire still required, or are we just going to send it to a robot? Is there a human element? What does the umpire do on the field if they have no role in the decision-making process? What's the purpose of an umpire? I still think they're a key element of the game, and they do. I think they have a level of prestige, and it needs to be accepted that they're a trusted professional out there, and they understand the rules of the game very clearly, and they make the decisions based on those rules and what they've seen to the best of their abilities. So it's not infallible, is it?
Charo, didn't the IPL remove the soft signal for LBW DRS in this edition? And that was largely due to some pressure from Virat Kohli. I don't know exactly how it came about, but did you know, what impact on the tournament did that have?
Well, I think it took away a certain level of controversy in that the umpires, if they were a little unsure, then they just went upstairs and upstairs decided. So I think it was just a cleaner system where you don't wonder why is the umpire then, why is there weightage to what the umpire says? And technology decided. Now, as I keep saying, if there's no bias, if there's no favoring one team or the other, then that's fine. And I do think it worked better. People were not confused about, the soft signal's out, but the third umpire saying not out. So who's more right? This weightage between the on-field umpire and technology, or should we say, if they were as if in different camps, was not there anymore. There was only one camp. It was the television umpire.
Would give us nothing to talk about, though, wouldn't it, if everything was technology? We love a controversial decision. We love it, let's be honest.